INEC server stopped uploading from the Beavers machine. And the promise of the election was that it would be fail-safe because instead of the game of the numbers being changed in calculation centers, the fact that the transmission goes direct to the INEC servers from the Beavers is what will protect people's votes. But as it turned out, at some point in time that night, there was a hacking into the INEC servers. At least that's what we are meant to understand. Some Nigerian techie out there in the US is said to have been on top of this whole thing, monitoring it, and that this person caught the attack or the hacking into of the INEC server, and hours later could report to everybody that it was internal, or the hacking in was from inside INEC. So uploading became literally impossible after that, giving room for many of the state governors who were now desperate to literally begin to arrest INEC officials and force them to begin to alter result sheets and all of that. Anyway, cut a long story short, we now get to a point where the whole reporting of the results is a complete farce, because it's clear that in many parts of the country, the Beavers was not even used at all. There was massive underage voting in some parts of the country. Now, as some of you may know, the PDP, which, feeling aggrieved, have collaborated, even though there's a problem with that. Young people are very upset about the PDP and Labour seemingly collaborating. But they both worked out of the INEC briefing, our collation center, Lagos Labour Party and PDP. However, PDP, in announcing their agents reporting after snapping in Lagos, disputes the 10,000 votes difference between P2B, who won Lagos, and Bola Tinubu, who is supposed to be run out, indicating that the real voting from their own capture was more 900 and something thousand for P2B and 100, I guess 30 something thousand for Bola Tinubu, which is closer to the reality. There are young people who actually argue that P2B got more than 1.5 million votes in Lagos, and Bola Tinubu got the same 100 and something thousand votes. These basic issues have just proved without doubt that the system was thoroughly compromised. Mahmoud Yakubu is rushing to announce the winner before the brickbats start flying. There is ongoing a major issue. He said that Atiku Abubakar has gone to court to try and stop the Kanu vote from being taken in. Some suggestions have just come out that we cannot allow Wike to get away with the murder he's presiding over in Port Harcourt and deliver APC the winning vote in Rivers. Whereas the truth of the matter is the voting in Rivers is almost similar to Lagos in terms of a commanding, overwhelming victory for P2B. Well, for someone like me, it's suddenly deja vu. That's how June 12, 1993 unfolded in front of me. and we went onto the streets and all of that. A very interesting part of all of this is the role of the West, where most of you live. When we came to Washington and met the Assistant Secretary of State for Africa, Fee, one of the issues I raised in our meeting with her is, I don't understand the tradition in Western monitoring of elections in Africa. Because it seems to me, since I've been at several of them, that you guys emphasize stability over democracy consistently. Once elections take place, they begin to struggle to pacify and to get those who will be losing, even if the thing was recklessly rigged, with such impunity. You often have visiting heads of states as monitors pleading with the victim. Don't incite, don't say anything that would provoke violence, does it? When I said this to Fee in Washington, she said, well, she didn't admit that it's true they do that, but more or less considered, I said that President Biden has said to them that they must try and focus on having real democracy this time around. But that has not happened. In fact, I don't know, a couple of days before the elections last week, the U.S. Consul General and his political counselor met at dinner in my house with Pio, and they kept asking questions, and pushing and saying to him, "Look, if you don't win, I hope you'll be able to calm your people down and so that we don't have any problems." At the point in time, Pastor Itua Golaru, who was there, said to me, in fact, shortly after he left, Pio had to leave also that night after we had been around for about 2-3 hours. Pio said to me, seems to me that what this book came to say to us is that this election is going to be rigged, and please don't make noise when it is rigged. It's almost prophetic. That's what Pastor Itua Golaru said to me that night, and she reminded me yesterday that that's what he said to me. I said to him, "Oh, well, it's just their tradition." But the tradition has meant that they blame the victim. In fact, the U.S. ambassador was threatening the Labour Party chairman when he made a speech on the night of the elections about the youth, they're restraining the youth from going to the streets. That is inciting. They even almost said that of a tweet I made. Not almost, they said that. The British guy, I called them actually to say what's going on. I said, we're about to call you. That your tweet, we have to be more responsible. They are just obsessed with stability or not making noise. Whether it's a deliberate collusion to keep people who can govern the place in power, but they do it every time. And I'm glad that I said this to Fee in advance of the elections. And she was embarrassed and caught by it and said, look, President Biden has said to us, we need to focus on democracy and stuff. So that pressure continues, visiting African heads of state, former heads of state, Thabo Mbeki, Kuruma, Uhuru Kenyatta, all of them met with Peter Obi this evening. It's the same general. Please keep calm. We can go to court later. First of all, going to court later, anybody who knows Nigerian politics knows that is designed to just dull you Secondly, Bola Tinubu owns the judiciary in Nigeria. He spends so much money on them that, so it's a coup d'etat in progress. A coup d'etat executed by civilians. And a world that just doesn't want to hear any problem is saying, please don't. But as he said to them when he met them, I have no control over the youth. I didn't ask them to do anything when they did, and I'm not going to be able to stop them anyway. I could even be more the victim if I tried harder than this. But I'm definitely not going to encourage any violence or encourage anybody to do anything. So basically, this is where we are. There are many things that I can talk about, but I can go on and on and on. So, it's probably more valuable if I find out what you may want me to throw light on that you don't have enough fresh air into at this point.
Yeah, I have a question. Can I ask a question?
Yes, please.
Who has the right of host? Can you give me, please?
Yeah, so this is Tony. I'm calling from Dallas. I'm talking from Dallas. I wanted to find out from Pat, what is the take of the president, the Nigerian president? What is his take of what is going on right now?
He has no take. He has said nothing. He's done nothing. There were lots of speculations that he didn't want Bola Tinubu to run, but he got, but he never seems to do anything.
That's terrible.
Unless it affects him.
Yeah.
So right now he has not made any statement. I can probably disclose that after Thabo Mbeki got the details of what was going on, he was so shaken. He said he would tomorrow go and see the president. But what Mahmoud Yakubu is rushing to do is to announce Bola Tinubu as a winner and then leave everybody to go and fight it out.
All right, thank you for answering that. So please, we are going to respect the hand-raising options. But before we do that, Kingsley Obaji, could you please transfer the host to Emmanuel Ihim? Please, let's do that quickly. Transfer the host. It was mistakenly transferred to you, Kingsley Obaji. If you click on the attendance, you should be able to transfer the host back to Emmanuel Ihim. And then with that said, let's quickly use the hand raise. I think Dr. Innocent Okabim raised hand first. And please keep your question less than 30 seconds so that we can have Honorable that is with us. Let's respect his time and also try to get as many questions as possible. The hand raise is really increasing, so keep it not more than 30 seconds. Dr. Innocent Okabim, you can go ahead now.
Thank you very much. Professor Utomi, thank you for taking the time to speak with us. Looking at you, one can easily conclude that you haven't slept in 1 week. And we encourage you to know that we are with you. I want to make a suggestion, not a question. You have already hit the nail on the head when you said that foreign governments and past presidents emphasize stability over democracy. Any place where people have refused to accept results of bad elections, people have gone out on the streets and refused to be moved by the establishment. Since we have the experience that once they rush the result in, they're going to tell us to go to court. And eventually we end up at the Supreme Court where they will do whatever they want to do. I want to ask you, please, sir, will you encourage the Nigerian Labour Congress and all other stakeholders within the Labour family to mobilize, come out on the streets? The youth will support them. I don't expect that you will be the one making the call, but the Labour Party has to have the means of encouraging Labour to hit the streets with the youth so that we can create the confusion that will attract attention and forestall this move that they are hurrying to make. Thank you, sir.
Oh, okay.
Well, who should give me the host back, please?
Yeah, we would very much back, please.
Yeah, Professor, give us a quick second. I know you're trying to get situated somewhere. I see you walking. Give us just a quick second. Can Kingsley Obaji, I see you raise your hand. Can you hear me? If you can hear me, let's take a minute to transfer the host. Very important we do that because of so many things we are doing with that, the permissions, the control. Kingsley, can you hear me?
I hear you very well, and I'm asking you, who should I transfer the host to?
Give it to Emmanuel Ehim, and he can then control it. It was mistakenly. Thank you so much. Give it to Emmanuel Ehim.
Okay, I will do that.
All right, thank you. Professor, you want to respond to that before we take the next question?
Yeah. Really,
I want to make a suggestion before Prof responds to that, especially in respect to that question. Prof, I would want to add to Dr. Okabam's suggestion. I think at this moment, the most appropriate way to do it is to descend authority to lower levels with strong leadership, so that and encourage a network between them, so that the communication from the final authority just comes out orally while they take charge to do what is right. So at that level, I think we can be able to when they're already on the streets, the point is made. They are not going to come back. The demand will be out. Then not only the international community, especially for the first time, both reports of the European Union and the National Endowment for Democracy, International Republican Institute, all the international reports, have shown this election to be a sham. The international community, yes, it is Biden's administration, because that's the way he came to power. They want to shut people up.
Dr. Ehim, please allow him to address us. You're making a very long statement. Yeah, there are so many questions.
Okay, Prof, you can answer. I said before he answers, I just gave a suggestion.
Prof, do you want to take 2 questions at a time, or do you just want to keep the method going one at a time? I just want to make sure we use your time effectively and we make it help you as well. Which method works for you?
Let me take this one first, but ultimately maybe 2 at a time. We're actually in the middle of how to chat with PO himself on some idea that just came up. So that's why I was walking up from my own hotel room to his. First of all, we must be clearly distant from anything that is a popular response thing. It's not our call. It's people who are aggrieved that their votes, their rights are being smothered, who have the exercise of whatever initiative they feel brings up their voice. So it shouldn't be our call, in manner of speaking. Already several youth groups have come out to say they want to do this or do that. I don't think we should be seen as encouraging them, but it's their call to do whatever they want to do. I have spoken with the NLC leadership, and they have issued 1 or 2 big, strong statements already. And I can say here that they asked me if we give them enough of those evidence we are building up of the actual vote versus the INEC announced vote, that they can then use that as a basis to call for a certain course of action that will lead to things happening one way or the other. So this is really where it is in that regard.
All right. Thank you so much, Prof. So we will take 2 questions at a time, and please let's continue to abide by the 30 seconds rule. Kasmia Uchebu, you go first, and then Kingsley Obaji. Thank you for transferring that host. You will be the second. Kasmia, you can unmute yourself.
Thank you, Prof, and thank you for all you do for the good of Nigeria. My question is it out of place for Labour Party or our principal to go to court at this point, restraining INEC from continuing to make any announcement based on so many irregularities and disenfranchisement and all that? I don't know, is it out of place at this point to do that?
All right, thank you. And Prof, one more question, and then we'll allow you to respond. Kingsley, you have the floor. 30 seconds, sir.
Thank you so much, Kings, and thank you, Professor Utomi. Personally, I want to thank you for all you have continued to do for our nation. My question is that there's news that just coming out of Abuja that the police had arrested some people in Matama, Abuja, where they have actually been staging this fraud. Are you aware of it, and what impact would that be? What impact would that make in the whole process?
Okay, thank you. Prof, now back to you. If you need help me reading out the questions to you, I will, but if not, go ahead and take the 2 questions.
Okay, the first one was about whether we would go to court. This is actually why I walked up 2 flights of stairs to wake up the principal, because we've been discussing many things. I left him about 2 hours ago or less, but his thinking is that we should probably try and stop this egregious one of rivers. This is a state that we probably won with like 90% of the vote, but Wike is managed to concoct. It's impossible that would actually give it now to APC, including locking up INEC officials. One woman is still in hiding because she was told that they will kill her and kill her whole family if she doesn't come out to alter the thing to show that Bola Tinubu won. I got a text from one of the candidates there, who really ironically, is a former director of SSS, who has won the Senate seat. But this woman is the one who has the document, but she has gone into hiding. They know where she's hiding, but she won't come out because believes if she comes out to go to INEC to formally file it, if she doesn't alter it, they were going to kill her. Wike has gone completely mad, totally raving lunatic at this point. So the idea has just come that perhaps we should get a judge before 8 a.m. to have an injunction against announcing that funny outcome in Port Harcourt, which bears no resemblance to the reality. Because where they are now, it's only 3 or 4 states to report. Once they manage to give Tinubu rivers, which we won by a landslide, it completely now alters the thing into Tinubu's favor. So we're going to discuss that now. Yes, I am of the view that we should do that, try and get that injunction, if possible, before 8, 9. And Mahmoud Yakubu resumes his fast. The second question was, I remember.
The discovery that was made in Maitama.
These people are completely and totally shameless. 10,000 discoveries won't make any difference to them. But yes, it can be part of a build-up of evidence. But as I say, go to court. Yes, you can show it in court. The judiciary in Nigeria is completely gone. If you can make somebody who was fourth place governor, and you can make a candidate somebody who didn't participate in any primaries, you can imagine what's possible with the Nigerian judiciary today. However, I don't expect that these would all stoke social action. That could go any which way. It could be the Nigerian Revolution, it could be anarchy, it could be anything. But these guys don't care at all. It's very, very strange. I really never thought these guys. And I can say something to you. I can share with you this personal story. On the 2nd of October 2018, I had just gone through this fast in Delta State the day before. And I came back to Lagos to see a very, very good friend of mine who's quite a celebrated lawyer and
recording in progress.
Has been lawyer to the APC. I've been lawyer for the APC for years. Wole Olanikpeku, senior advocate of Nigeria. I'm actually quite close to his firm. And went to see him just to tell him a story of my experience and get the benefit of his counsel. 5 minutes into our conversation, his phone rings and he pleads with me to answer the call. And he begins to answer. And the conversation goes on for like an hour. Because fortunately, I do speak Yoruba, so I could tell who and who were on the other end. They were obviously Ambode and one or two of his people talking to Lani.
Please, the
host can everybody. Sorry, Prof. Everyone, please put your line on mute. The host, please help us control the muting. I don't have that host ability. Dr. Ihim, you are the host. Please help us mute the person. Prof, you can go ahead, sir.
Let me just okay. And when he finished the conversation, he looked at me and said, those are your people. My people meant the APC gang. I said, I figured so. He said to me, let me tell you something. Jonathan feared God and feared man. Your people, Bola Tinubu and Co, neither fear God nor man. My counsel to you is stay out of their way, because they will destroy anybody or anything in their way. But it should not be for too long, because their end is near. Now, I know God is long-suffering and very patient. So, 2nd October 2018, I was hoping their end would have come by now. But they seem to be getting stronger in impunity. But it's just give you a flavor of whether these people are people with a sense of shame or dignity. For them, all that matters is that they procure power. All of you are part of the game. I think that in these kinds of things, in these kinds of times, the diaspora probably do a lot more than even locals can do. I still remember vividly, I was living in the US during the Iranian Revolution, and how a cleric living in France was able to bring down the peacock throne In many ways, there's more power in the winds. There's more wind in the sails of those of you who are far away, with the global network and some distance from the brutality of the animals. Perhaps a lot more can be done. We will continue to do our deeds. I can tell you, I put my life on the line more than once in these things, assassination attempts, the Abacha era, and so on. But we will still continue to do our best. Just think that perhaps not more can be done.
Tony, are you there? Tony, are you there? Yes, I'm here. Oyi Irene. Can I go ahead?
Okay. But
Make it brief.
Emma, you muted everybody. That's why I was just talking on mute. This host ability today is. So we have Ifeanyi Wosu before Oyi Irene. So Ifeanyi is going to go first.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I say good morning, Prof. This is Ifeanyi. Calling in from Pretoria, South Africa. We hosted you, I think it was in October, and when you came for the Igbo cultural lecture. Just want to join with my fellow participants to congratulate you, and also to thank you for all you've been doing for the movement for freedom in Nigeria. I came back yesterday from voting. I voted in Ikeja on Saturday, and it was a very revealing experience. All around that place, we were very sure with monitoring that our principal won. My question, your introductory message was quite sobering to the extent that it seemed as if we are more or less, with regards to the West, we are on our own. I understand that I think a couple of weeks ago, some judges who participated in that very judgment that made Hope Uzodimma, the governor of Imo State, were bad, or their visas were withdrawn from certain countries, including the US. So in the light of that, I'm wondering whether that's a point of pressure that the obedience or parties in the diaspora can focus on, to see whether we can actually have targeted sanctions against these people who are involved in this, including also this so-called chairman of INEC. So that would be my first question. My last question would be that if we don't have this confidence like you have expressed in the judiciary, then are we just going to court tomorrow like you suggested out of mere formality, or do we hope that there's something that can come out of it? I thank you.
All right, thank you. Oyi Irene, you can ask your question, and then we'll allow Prof to respond to both of them.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Prof Utomi, for the opportunity. This is Oyi Irene from Dallas, and I'll go straight to the point. I'm being peculiar about the River State we're talking about. I don't know. My question would be this. I don't know if the Labour Party team have had the opportunity to gather enough evidence in terms of the EC8A results that were actually the true results that were actually made prior to the server issue, uploading of the server issue. Why I say this is I'm very much interested in River State, and I had the opportunity to have people on ground, and they were polling agents on different locations in River State before the whole issue came up and Wike and his calamity. So I just want to confirm if Labour Party team, if we have those kind of information, I know we don't trust the court, but at least evidence are very key in this situation. And no matter how we look at the judiciary, we must also give it a trial to ensure that things are done appropriately. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And if you ask your questions, please lower your hand so we know who is left. Prof, if you need help, let me know. I hope you captured the questions. It's kind of 3 from 2 people.
Yeah. Okay. The first one includes whether given the indication that judges in the Hope Uzomane case have had their U.S. visas withdrawn or not extended or whatever, if that does not help, and relative to the point I made about the preference of the West for stability over democracy, apparent preference. I mean, to be completely fair, it is part of the immorality of power politics. They know that if there is a violent explosion in Nigeria, they are going to be forced into a refugee crisis, West Africa in turmoil and all of that. They don't want that trouble. So you guys, calm down. You know, it's a pity that you may be getting oppressed internally, but calm down. Now, having said that, however, they do have ways of signaling their unhappiness with undemocratic conduct, as may be the case with this judgment on Imo. I actually never give up on pushing that. One of the stories I tell very frequently is my role in the founding of the International Criminal Court. I joined with people who canvassed for that court, and I just tell a story of I think there are some open mics that are getting in the way.
The host should mute everybody, please.
Emma, you are Dr. Emma, you are the host, and I think you are holding both the host and the co-host at this point. So please help us with this.
Okay, so I tell the story of one day in January of 1997. I had gone to visit with the editorial board of the Christian Science Monitor in Boston to make a case for an international criminal court. In fact, at the time, what I was canvassing was 2 courts: an international criminal court of justice that will try heads of government anywhere in the world who engage in acts that result in genocide, and an economic crimes court which can try leaders whose economic activities, especially around corruption, leads to the deaths of people that are not usually thought of, which is economic genocide. After my presentation, most of the members of the board kind of sneered a little and said to me, "This is too idealistic. We live in a practical world. It will never happen." 2 years later, the Treaty of Rome passed, and we have an international criminal court. I didn't get my international economic crimes court, but an international criminal court is there today. Part of what I have tried to urge diaspora is that you all should be holding press conferences, calling for trials for people like Bola Tinubu, Mahmoud Yakubu, Nyesom Wike, Femi Gbajabiamila, and a host of them who have really made these elections, flashpoints that can result in genocide because of the way they interfered with the elections process, violently kidnapping elections officials, altering election results, and so on and so forth. And I think that this kind of pressure has value and can make a difference. The second part of that question, I'm trying to remember again, if you can help me.
Yeah, the question from Onyi is about gathering evidence. Do we have enough evidence? And he referenced River State.
Okay, yeah. Yes, there's plenty of evidence being pulled together. Point of fact, there are about 2-3 independent groups, not even the parties, and the parties are doing their bit, who by tomorrow will have their websites where you can see a download of EC8 snapped by citizens at the end of voting in almost all the polling booths in the country. And you can easily go and compare those with what INEC claims is the outcome after the doctoring. So yes, plenty of that is available. If you go even on the internet, people are posting the what they snapped at the end of voting with the beavers, where it worked or did not work. So that evidence is being pulled together, plenty of it for the courts. And let's bear in mind, even the judiciary is very corrupt and Bola Tinubu owns it, literally speaking. Still, fair judgments do come from time to time from the system. And it is possible that if you get some of the best technical lawyers, they can be so good that even the most corrupt judge will not have a choice but to give fair judgment. So yes,
thank you.
There is evidence.
Thank you, Prof. Prof, I want to ask you before we take more questions. I see about 6 more hands raised, and now it's like 12:20 a.m. in Nigeria. How many more will you be able to take?
Sorry,
I just wanted to know.
I'm juggling, making several choices and making several decisions here on the matter ongoing. Versus answering these questions. So, but I'll take a couple more before I have to run to make some critical phone calls, because we're going to try and find who can go before a judge before 7 o'clock in the morning.
Let us just take 2 more questions for him. Then I will give us a final charge.
All right, so let's do that. Thank you, Dr. Emma. So Paul Iwuchukwu raised his hand, and then we're going to have Nnamdi Uzor, and we will revert back to Emma for any other speech. Sorry for the rest of the hands raised. If Prof wants to take maybe one more, then we can add Chijike into that. Paul, please keep it 30 seconds.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Prof. And I agree with the rest of us that you've been doing marvelous for Nigeria. Whatever happens, your name has been written in gold. My question or comment is, I think the question of stopping them from continuing with this coalition and continuing from discontinue announcing these results to go back and follow their procedure. I think that can be challenged in court, because the problem is not that we don't know that everything has to be gone through before challenges are made in court. But the problem is that they are not following their procedure at all. I've gone through the procedure established by them, like everything has to be done through electronic transfer to their IREV server. But they didn't do that. That's the issue. And there's no legitimate reason for them not to follow that procedure. And they should have worked all these things out. Why did they say they are ready? I tried to navigate through their website, and even there are many results that have not been downloaded. I checked my own Ihala constituency. None of the Ihala polling booths, 20 polling booths, has been downloaded. Still not so. And there's so many all over the country. I moved around their website, which is very difficult to navigate. And so I think the suggestion to go to court is very, very, just to stop them from not following their procedure, their own internal procedure. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Namdi, can you please ask your question? And being that your question is almost similar to what was addressed, I'm going to ask Chijike after Namdi to also ask his. Namdi, go ahead.
Okay, if you cannot unmute me.
You should be able to unmute yourself. The host, please, Dr. Emma, can you help us unmute Namdi? I don't have that power. Emma has the power. If not, then Chijike, if you can.
Dr. Emma, okay. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Prof, for giving more up to what you have done before. In line with what the last speaker spoke, and understanding what Nigeria has been with respect to elections and tribunals and the courts. What I thought we should highlight a lot more is that the electoral umpire changed the rule of the game at the middle of the game. And that is what the rest of the world will hear more than even talking about all the manipulation that went by. Because America will not come, the West will not come unless you are born. We are not calling that the people should go and burn, but there should be a kind of tacit civil disobedience for the rest of the world to know that these people were robbed, they are still obedient to the country, one way or the other. But the key thing that should be highlighted a lot more is the aspect that the electoral umpires change the rule of the game. So that alone can be taken to the courts. So that it is not all about Tinubu, it's not all about we trying to parley with PDP, but rather standing on that will give us, it is not, nobody will brand it only obedience now. People will now brand it generally Nigerians. That was my point I wanted to make. It's not like a question, but it could, my thinking can help us to think deeper the strategy, because Nigerians and the law, the legal system, they depend so much on technicalities and the substance.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Prof, let's squeeze in this last one and then...
Yeah, okay.
Chijike, please take 30 seconds so that we can wrap up on the question part and take it back to Prof and Emma.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you, Prof. I'll have to be quick. My question is towards the activities of the high commissioners in Nigeria, because I know what many of us here went through during the top era. Because
GGK, be brief, please.
I'm coming. Yeah. So so I know how hard we work to return the United States back to this stability, and I am heartbroken that is what they are doing. So my question is it not possible for us to raise that issue of what they are doing in our country with the Department of State here in the country, and to find out where they are getting that, whether they have also been bought over by the Tinubus,
or whether they are getting that instruction from the State Department. Because I know there are a lot of us here, so we can also show them that they cannot destroy our country while we stay here and build the United States.
Thank you.
I'll help Prof in this question. Yes, the Secretary of State is acting the bidding in tandem with the President and the same ambassador that came to the principal and is training from acting in that form, doing anything to react, asking people to come out. The same government, the Secretary of State and Biden are in the same agreement with this. The Washington, if you know the Washington advocacy, they are in the same agreement. So I think that's what I think, except Prof have a different view.
All right, please, everyone, please put your line on mute. Prof, we really want to release you on this as soon as possible. Thank you for staying. Please, if you need me to help you, remember the questions. If not, if you capture them,
please remind me. Just remind me of the questions again. Just quick.
So Paul Iwuchukwu was emphasizing it was ideas. Yeah, it was more of suggestions.
It's a suggestion.
Go ahead.
The first person gave a suggestion. The second person asked the question about urging the State Department. The State Department is in the same camp with what is happening. So, we are aware of that. We have thousands, many hundreds of advocacy engaging the Secretary of State. So, Prof, we do understand both of those questions. I mean, we have to release Prof to go. So let us agree on what to do. Number one is this: that the Congress, like Prof have correctly pointed out, the diaspora can do more. Both Congress are sympathetic to the Nigerian cause. At the present, there are bills in the state Congress and U.S. Congress, and there are bills, resolution in the Senate. And those bills are bipartisan. I can assure you that majority of the congressmen are not happy with what is happening in Nigeria. It is here that the diaspora can exploit this opportunity to mobilize. When you talked about using the press conferences and engaging already the people who are advocating for Nigeria on Washington space, if we combine those and combine the power of the diaspora in engaging their individual congressmen, we will do so much to help Nigeria. So I agree with Prof. We are going to exploit every means that will help us in Washington for our own people. And I want to let you know, it is possible. The possibility does not lie straight with the President of the United States or the Secretary of State, but it lies on using the pressure upon them that they will not have any alternative to do that, to act otherwise. And so that is what we are going to do. Prof, I think we are taking the mandate that you have suggested that the diaspora can do so much. I do know we can do so much. And I thank the Lord for the privilege that Prof coming here to let us know that the diaspora who are saved here can do so much. And if he exists now, we can agree on what to do. And I want to let us know nothing is impossible when the diaspora agrees on what to do and forges ahead to do that.
Just a quick announcement. Just for Prof to know. You know, they had 3 states outstanding, which INEC is announcing the result. Now they just announced Taraba. So what is left now is Imo State and Rivers State. So the court injunction, I don't know. Are you sure it's going to work? Because what these people are doing is they will just want to...
They're trying to rush it up this night.
That's what I'm saying. Yes. They're just doing Taraba now. It will be 1 second in Taraba, according to what they call.
That's more reason why we need to let Prof go. Prof have some important
why I'm saying that, I wish sure it's not late for the court injunction because they just reconvene now after 40 minutes and they've got Taraba. So the next thing is Imo or Rivers. Both of them, that's the 2 last.
They've already announced Imo.
Yeah. They've announced Imo, so that means Rivers is the last. So that's why I just want to bring it up to Prof's notice now.
Prof, we will want to thank you so much. May we call Prince Charles to give a vote of thanks. We will feed you back on the decision that the diaspora will take.
There's no need for vote of thanks. Let the Prof go.
We should be fine. Prof, thank you for hanging on with us. Thank you for everything.
We appreciate you, and I will give you feedback. I assure you that we will act on what the advice you have given us. And by the grace of God, I'll be positive feedback.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prof, for taking the time.
Thank you.
Under this stressful.
Thank you, Prof.
Thanks, right.
God bless her. Thank you.
Thank you.
So who did they call him?